it comes to the school portion, not your township or our
Yeah.
village or whatever, but that school portion
Mhm.
will change for everyone.
You're live, Tom.
Yep. All right, I don't know if you got Kelly's email, but she won't be here. In about an hour or two.
Not long ago.
Okay. If we get started. Okay. All right, it is 6:02, so we'll call the meeting to order. I'd like to start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge of allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation,
under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, so first,
Make a motion to approve the agenda.
Second it.
we have a motion from Peggy, seconded by Steve to approve the agenda. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Comments from the public? Okay. All right, and on to accepting donations. It's donations from Moms for Kids.
I'll make a motion to accept the donation from Moms for. I'll second it.
We have a motion to accept the donation and seconded, first by Jamie and then by Katie. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? By the way, I love the picture of Bryn with all the goodies.
Yeah.
And that was pretty awesome that they were able to do all that. So always appreciate all the stuff that Moms for Kids does for the school and the students. Treasurer's report for June of 2024.
Make a motion to accept the treasurer's report.
I'll second it.
Have a motion by Katie, seconded by Peggy to accept the treasurer's report. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? All right, I have nothing prepared at the minute for the president's correspondence. So I'll move on to committee chair reports. There's only one committee that really met this week. Well, one in an ad hoc or a month ad hoc. And that committee was budget and finance and personnel. Peggy,
We have several items that will be on the agenda later tonight.
that's what I figured, just double checking. So nothing from buildings and grounds.
Well, an update on the playground.
Yep, later in the agenda. And or policy and planning. Well, we do, but that's also later in the agenda. All right. DPR reports from the superintendent, DPI general aid estimate article.
Okay, I just wanted to share this with you. I don't know if you had the opportunity to see it, but we obviously were talking prior. You can see the aid percentage is going down. Typically, that happens as the taxes go up. It kind of works as a teeter totter if you look at it that way. I did contact Baird. I was talking to Becky a little bit today about getting a formal statement from Baird about that. And she said a variety of other districts are asking for the same thing. She's willing to do it. She's going to do it for us. I probably won't, I didn't get it today, so I'll probably have it by our next budget and finance meeting. So just wanted you guys to see where we're at aid wise. This isn't new. Over the years, it typically goes up and down like that. You know, we've had $300,000 losses in aid for here
So
and
that
there.
percentage isn't unusual percent?
It's actually less of a percent than we've had in other years, but I will say that, you know, as our declining enrollment continues, that's a
It
piece
hurts
to
more.
that.
Mhm.
That, if you have declining enrollment and your land valuation goes up, that's a disaster waiting to happen.
Yeah.
And you can see that's kind of what's happening in our,
So for the school districts who've gone up, like Unity went up a lot, is that because their enrollment's higher?
I don't think so, no, unless
Like I was trying to look at the other schools
Yeah,
that were
I
like
can-
kind of in it, like
I can-
Unity's up 89%.
Yeah, I can't say why theirs is going. I don't know for sure.
Yeah, that's what I was like looking at other schools like that was on this list that was
But I don't know
around
what
us
their
and I was
announcement
like,
is Either unless you do. I don't.
I
know
don't.
Yeah.
going up.
But I mean, they're not switching conferences, so
could
it
going
can't
up
be
dramatically.
that big if they're not having to switch sports conferences to another. So it
But
can't,
it has to do with property values
It
too.
does, yeah.
And
Yeah.
so, for example, last year in our district, the town of Siren was reassessed significantly, and I believe the town of Daniels. So that changed our land value, where if they haven't been reassessed, their land values may not have risen yet, where in another year,
Polk County did that.
you know, they,
Yes, they did.
the whole county.
The whole
I was
county.
gonna say, I think.
Oh, because usually
have-
counties don't do it all at once.
Maybe they were overvalued and now they're.
Yeah, that could be it too, if their values dropped instead of going up.
I'm just wondering, what are we gonna do? So we're getting that 89% increase like Unity's getting.
Well, I mean.
More kids in classrooms, that's
Do we
basically
know
what
what some
it
of
is.
these, the school, the two church schools are doing to pull kids out of our enrollment? Both, Covenant and Adventures are doing their own school, 6 through 12. Or not,
Adventure is not doing.
not Adventure, okay, then Covenant is
They're only doing,
pre-K through 6.
yeah, but I,
Frederick Church dissolved.
It did, okay,
and there's few.
6 kids I heard.
okay, I
Friday,
didn't know if it was
Saturday night.
gonna pull any
No, they're,
numbers.
my understanding is they're mostly looking for the youngest kids. They want to pull 4K kids more than anything.
I mean, it's just, unfortunately, we're dealing with a changing demographic in this area. Got a lot less starter families right now and,
Yeah, they can't afford to live here.
yeah, so. You know, so you get maybe some industry in the area or something like that,
Some lower rented.
entice those people here.
Would be nice.
Over 65 crowd will be over 50% of the population.
Yeah.
shortly.
Yeah, and even though there is some manufacturing, people can't afford to live, so,
Yep,
I mean, the only apartments in the area are very expensive.
well. Thank you for that.
Thanks, Kevin.
Moving on to the 2023-2024 membership audit results.
So this is a big deal and it's a random audit and it's happened to us pretty regularly over the last few years, but I just wanna give kudos to Lisa because she handles that and there was, it is the luck of the draw. It is random. There were no findings, not one error.
And what exactly does this audit?
They audit our pupil count
Okay.
to make
thank
sure
you.
that we're doing it accurate. And I think Lisa can tell you over the last few years, it's taken quite a while to get to no errors, but she's kind of got it really, and it's stressful. And so the auditor said it was a great report, great state reports. Our membership process is very solid and our reporting was spot on. So I want to say thank you to Lisa on that one as well.
Nice.
All right,
You got one more.
Yeah. Didn't know we needed a problem.
moving on to the Herb Cole Education Foundation.
Just, you guys have been around a while, know that we've had several teachers, or at least one for sure, get it in my time here. And students, we're no longer offering student scholarship. So I just wanted to let you guys know that, because sometimes our people are nominated and they're not doing students anymore. for
Was this what Priscilla just got? Or was that something different, right? Okay. I think my niece got it at St. Croix.
So, and you guys have the letter in there, so just wanted to let you know.
Nothing else, Kevin?
Nope, that's it. Thank you.
All right, moving on to reports from principals. Mrs. Herman, no report for July. Ms. Campbell, Essentials Exchange.
So one of the things that I wanted to start, the first year that I was here was like a needs closet and we didn't really have a great space for it. So we just had it in one of the like offices, like rooms in the office. It wasn't ideal because we had to make sure that we monitored kids while they were in there and we didn't have a lot of space, so we had to keep it very small and just have a few necessary items in there. So toiletries, clothing items, shoes, things like that for a variety of reasons. Part of our overhaul of the library, we cleaned the offices straight back and we're going to be moving it in there and we're going to formally call it the Essentials Exchange for mostly grades 6 through 12. The elementary kind of already had this in the elementary office setup. And so then we are gonna start looking for more donations. We'll be able to take them. The main thing is that, we kind of need people to be strategic in what they're donating. We don't want people just dropping off bags and bags of clothes that they don't want because they don't still have that much space. And we really do want them to be items that are gonna be useful to teenagers in particular. Mostly things like sweatpants, sweatshirts, hoodies, anything dragon wear seems to be a big hit. You know, if someone has, you know, old Nike tennis shoes that are really in good shape and they just don't use them anymore and they want a place for them to go, we would look at, having a new process for taking in more donations. And then, we have a pretty good stock of toiletries, shampoo and conditioners and things like that, but, those types of things as well. So kids come for a variety of reasons, whether kids are, you know, placed in a different home all of a sudden, or if someone spills spaghetti on their shirt at lunch, or slips on the field outside and has mud all over their clothes. So there's lots of times where kids come looking for items, and it's nice that we have a variety of sizes, so.
It's awesome.
So then, Jamie, are you gonna put out like a wish list after school starts and we're looking for this, we're looking for that?
Yeah, we can do that. We need to put up another hanging bracket back here. We've got quite a bit of shelves. And we're working on, we went through and sorted and got rid of some stuff that had been in there and no one had taken. And so we've been kind of sorting that, so we can put together like a wish list and put that out for like items. But in general, anything like sweatpants, sweatshirts, hoodies, things like that are always a big hit.
Awesome. I think we definitely have to get some sort of posting more publicly, like on Facebook, maybe even on the website.
Yeah.
Of stuff that we're looking for, just to keep it constantly in people's thought
You're aware of
processes.
Crystal's Closet as well, right?
Would that be the,
In Cushing,
Pushing.
Crystal's Closet is a free clothing exchange.
and there's-
Anyone can go there and get anything you want.
oh, okay.
We've used it a lot for foster kids in the
Okay.
county.
Yeah.
If you get a hold of them, tell them what you're looking for. If they have it, they're more than willing to donate.
They're in the old Cushing school, right?
No, they're in the community center.
Oh, they moved?
They've always been in the community center.
And wasn't there one opening in
I thought that was
Frederick
a
as
school.
well?
It is. The community center is the school.
Oh.
That's what I thought. I just wasn't gonna
It's always
argue with
been a
Peggy,
community
so.
center as long as I've known it, but it was in school. It was pretty little.
It was a little. school.
Frederick was opening one as well.
And what is it?
Middle of Main Street, they were selling items, but also their ministry is helping, like, they say they help like 600 homeless youth in the Burnett and Polk County area. So they also do that kind of items.
Yeah, we'll get more info out there.
Excellent. Anything else for us? Okey dokey. On to special education director staffing update.
So as of now, I have no applicants for my special ed positions as far as teachers go. I am mapping out 2 or 3 different scenarios, and hopefully I can get something fleshed out to present at budget and personnel. Might require some shifting of staff people and that kind of thing. Aides are in about the same boat. I've had no applications. I've chatted with one gal, but she hasn't got back to me yet, so not sure where that's at. We have popped everything back up to the top on weekend. We will go back in. I think they're still on the Facebook page on the website, so you know, anybody that's looking. Potential referrals actually turned into a referral, and we have a couple more that we're expecting here probably before school starts. Early childhood kiddos. So,
If we don't
Running.
get teachers, are we gonna have to look for contracted through a service of some kind?
I don't know that yet. That is
Okay.
one of the options, but I've got a couple other things brewing in my brain. I just need to start jotting notes and mapping everything out to see how it's gonna work. So I would prefer not to do that because a lot of those tend to be virtual.
Mhm.
And if they're virtual, then I still have to have somebody in the classroom for discipline and student management. So I'm not sure how beneficial that would be.
Well, hopefully we'll get a lot of interest in this next few
Well,
weeks
I'm
here.
hoping in the next couple of weeks that something pops up.
Alright, Indian Education Report, Summer Institute at Unity, 7/29/82.
So the American Indian Studies Summer Institute, it's an annual thing and it, since I've been here, has never been up in our neck of the woods, so Unity's hosting. So I came from there today. There's, I think about 80 people, fully mostly from CSA 11. So there's a whole week's worth of how to teach culturally relevant practices, a lot of like library book, how to procure appropriate books, that kind of stuff. So I'm pretty excited about that. And then I submitted our language grant report, must have been 2 weeks ago, which is just how we did on meeting our goals. And we have submitted our application for next year and have not heard back yet.
Good. Alright. This time, looking for a motion to approve the minutes from the regular school board meeting minutes of June 24th, 2024.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
A motion by Peggy, seconded by Jamie. All those in favor? Opposed? On to new business. Temporary borrowing.
I make a motion, we approve Community Bank as our vendor for temporary borrowing, short term.
I'll second that.
We're also gonna talk about upping the dollar amount. If we can,
Okay,
however, I have not figured that number out.
so we just need to approve a source for now and then you can bring that back to budget. Okay. So my motion stands.
Okay, then.
I didn't know there was anything. It just says temporary borrowing, so I don't even know what's going on.
We have
Which is
to approve
approved
every
every
year.
Okay,
Take your word.
so we got a motion by Peggy, seconded by Steve. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? All right, education options policy 343.4.
So as part of our regular statutory requirements, we're required to do this each year. And we do it each July, and it's part of the WASB requirements that we do. And we just list general options that we have, and we also provide a link to our public report card.
We have to approve that.
Yeah, just need to approve that, and I want it in the minutes.
All
Make a
right,
motion to approve educational options policy 343.4.
I'll second that.
motion by Peggy, seconded by Katie. All those in favor? Aye.
This is just approving it for this. You said it comes back every year.
Yeah, we have to approve it each year.
I was just thinking it should be like called something else or like have a update on the bottom instead of 2015, or maybe that's just how you. Like nothing changes, it's been the
No.
same since August of.
Those were the general options. I was, when this was initiated, I was a superintendent. And that's just required by DPI. Now, if you want more, I can certainly.
No, I mean, that's what, I don't know, I just, yeah, I guess I was thinking this was like an update from like current year.
No, it's.
But
just
yeah,
something
I'm
we need
getting
to
it,
do on an
yeah.
annual basis each
Gotcha.
July. And I think some of you guys as board members get those publications that come and say what's, I don't know, maybe you don't, but it's what's required at the
Tom
July
should get
board
them.
meetings, and this is one of them.
Yeah.
So
Thanks, Kevin.
So 2024-2025 meal prices.
So I think the last time we had talked about this, the adult prices were not on there, so this has been revised, added and then brought to you. And these are recommended by the Department of Public Instruction typically.
And these are for adults only because everybody else gets free.
Yes.
So I'll
The
make a
kids
motion.
Pay for milk. It's just the only thing that's increased is the milk and the second entree. Do the kids pay
Yes.
for kids pay for the second entree though, don't they?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, so they pay.
Well, if they ask for
If they get a
extra,
second option.
it's a second. The original meal's free.
Right.
I'll make a motion, we approve the 24-25 meal prices.
I'll second that.
Motion by Peggy, seconded by Jamie. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Referendum 2024 ballot language. Initial authorization, general obligation bonds, and an amount not to exceed 1,400,000.
So we took this to budget and finance. It was agreed upon that it would be one amount as opposed to two separate questions, one question. And we need to approve they did make a motion to bring this to this meeting and have it approved.
So if I remember right, the first motion needs to be just for the resolution authorizing.
Yes.
Correct, and then the second one is for the land, okay. So I'll make a motion that we accept the initial resolution authorizing the general obligation bonds not to exceed 1.4 million.
You're just gonna copy.
I'll second that.
I think I got Steve first, so motion by Peggy, seconded by Steve. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? And moving on to the second part, the ballot language.
And this is an opportunity for the board to have input on this. We did take it to budget and finance. Budget and finance did move it on. They like the language. Peggy, Tom, if you guys want to speak to it, I mean, it's exactly what you indicated, so.
Well, I think the board voted last month that we wanted to do one, not two questions. All this is just finalizing the language.
Yeah.
Does it seem okay? Cause we sent it off.
So that was a resolution and this one is
What the ballot language.
the actual ballot language
Yeah.
approval.
Yeah,
I'll
so
make-
that's the real big key. So you guys.
I know that we have to say it right, that's why I want to make sure we say it the right
You guys need
way.
to be okay with what's on the ballot. That's what I'm getting at.
So by saying capital maintenance of building infrastructure, including, does that mean limited to? So it allows us, if there are extra, to do other capital and building infrastructure needs.
Yeah, if by some miracle,
Yeah, right.
those
By
two
some
things come
miracle.
in short.
I like miracles.
Me too. They don't have that.
So then if we do not exceed 700,000, and let's say that the boilers come in at 605,000, what the bid was. So that extra 95,000, are we gonna put that in a line item that is, because it was for boilers?
No, it's
No.
more.
It's for
Building-
capital maintenance and
Capital
building
maintenance.
Okay,
infrastructure.
so,
Flexibility, Steve, a little bit.
Okay.
That's what you're asking?
yep, okay,
But it does have to be used for capital improvements.
okay.
Can't go in the general fund, but
All right,
if
okay.
say the roof came in at 750 and the boilers came in at 645, we could transfer from
Okay.
boilers to roof.
Right.
All we have is the current bids we have, so.
Or if
that's
we
all.
didn't happen to have anything at the moment, we could potentially set aside for another
No.
infrastructure.
You can't have a ton of us. You gotta use it.
Within the
use
calendar year.
Yeah. But there, I mean, I don't see that as an issue
No,
because
there's
we're
plenty
always
of
running into
capital.
unexpected maintenance issues, so.
That is true.
Right, as long as it's gonna be used for capital improvement. If-
Right,
if
and it-
it's left over,
yeah.
that's fine.
We're not.
Yeah, we can't use it for, we can't use it
No.
for salaries, we can't use it for operating expenses, we can't use it for paper.
No,
Nothing else.
I'm just saying for
Yeah.
improvements only. All right, so looking for a motion,
I'll make a motion approving resolution for providing for the referendum.
Just finish it out, read it all.
Okay, 7-29-4, resolution providing for referendum election on the question PDF file. So I'll make a motion on that.
I'll second.
motion by Steve, seconded by Katie, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Moving on, Siren School 2024-2025 handbook.
So the only changes, and this has already went to the budget, well, I think the whole board negotiated with the teachers union on this PTO, and so that's what was added and changed in the certified staff handbook today. And typically, we bring them to the board for approval each year, even if there are no changes, what you're gonna find, was what you'll find in the next.
So looking for a motion to approve,
I'll make a motion to approve the certified staff handbook for 24-25.
I'll second. So motion by Peggy, seconded by myself. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Moving on to the Siren School 2024-2025 support staff handbook.
Yeah, I don't believe there are any changes in this
Yeah, there was one.
social media piece, yeah, okay.
I remember there was something highlighted.
Yeah, so yeah, so that, we did as advised by legal counsel. And we did have a whole staff in service on this and indicated that we would, address this moving forward, so.
I'll make a motion to accept the support staff handbook for 24-25.
I'll second it.
Motion by Katie, seconded by Peggy. All those in favor, say aye.
I,
Aye, opposed? Moving on to the Siren School 2024-2025 Directors, Administration and District Office Staff Handbook.
Just one of the things that I wanted to comment about this, we use this as a reference. Several of us have individual contracts. So for example, like Laura is a director, Jesse's a director. You know, I'm an administrator. So we do have contract language that in many cases will take precedent over the handbooks. At least and Tiffany are subject to the handbook, but they kind of sometimes have to refer to the staff handbook as well. So
And there were no changes to this one.
no, we didn't make any.
So I'll make a motion, we approve the 24-25 Directors, Administrators and District Office Staff Handbook.
second it.
Motion by Peggy, seconded by Steve. All those in favor? Opposed? Okay. Title IX Policy 113 Rule and Exhibit 113.
So this is very, very lengthy and very cumbersome, and I'm trying to do my best to present this to you, and that's why I did the executive summary. You know, I didn't cross-reference the two policies, it's a lot. So we went through our training, we've been through 2 training exercises, and basically I tried to model a lot of what's on there of the changes that are coming forth. You know, by August 1st, we're required to do this. There were some districts that are waiving on this. I don't know if you guys had heard, because there are a couple of court cases pending, which I also put in there. But at this, I got an email today basically saying, this is from Renning and Lewis, who does our training. And in the statement, it says, we are not recommending that school boards delay the adoption of the new Title IX policies and procedures. At this point, the injunction prohibits the U.S. Department of Education, Department of Justice from enforcing the rules at only a limited number of Wisconsin schools. All other Wisconsin schools are subject to departments and enforcement authority, which basically means there are some districts that have members of these organizations that are fighting the suit on that. And he put them in here as well. He has a list of Wisconsin schools identified in this, and we are not one of them. So for us to move forward with the new policy language, and I talked directly to Dan Malin, who is the director of WASB, and he guided me directly on these policies. So Lisa can testify to that. So I just want to make sure we're in compliance. They are lengthy. You know, there are some changes that I added. You guys can see that in the executive summary. The only differences from the policy samples that come are if districts have multiple Title IX coordinators, and bigger districts sometimes do, and it's not recommended because if an outside organization comes in to investigate, there seems to be a lot of inconsistencies based on having 2 different people do that, and we've never had that. And the other thing I just wanted to say is this: every time we have to go through a process like this, we walk hand in hand with legal counsel. We make sure we're getting advice and guidance on how to proceed with investigative procedures and that. So, and the other thing is, if we get them approved and anything else comes about or comes changes, we can bring it back to policy and we can do it there and look at it there as well. So I think the main thing now is to get these policies approved by August 1st.
And you need them approved individually.
Yes, 411, the next one, I'll just, if you don't mind me
Yeah,
commenting
no,
on
that's
that.
fine.
I mean, there aren't significant changes in 411, but Dan recommended that I just go ahead and approve the new sample because it goes in correspondence with 113. So that's it. And you can see, you know, in some of the changes, you know, it addresses pregnancy, it addresses the grievance process, which is different and things. So as more comes forth, I will share it with policy, but that's we were kind of in a rush at this point in time. I don't know that other school districts around us have even approved these as yet. I think some were still waiting on the court cases, and we're deliberating on whether to even approve it, but after today's correspondence, I feel we need to just move forward and approve these policies as such.
I have a question about the executive summary. I'm just kind of curious. So Jamie's the only one that you have listed. I understand she's at the second name, but I'm just curious why you chose not to list who the other ones are, like the name, like, so the Title IX coordinator, the one appeals administrator, the 504 coordinator, and then the one discrimination officer. You don't have anybody listed, but then you said it's all in the policy.
Yeah, the policy 113. It has the coordinator, 504.
I mean, we could certainly put them in there if the policy committee would recommend that. I can bring it back.
It's like there's a lot of policy stuff in this meeting that we maybe should have had a meeting.
Now, I put that in the executive summary because these are policy languages that is mandated by
Yeah.
the federal government, and I put that in there specifically. So, and we're under time crunch. So that's why I'm willing to bring it back. There was nobody trying to pull over trying to pull it over on anybody's eyes. I was just trying to get it done by August 1st. And I didn't create any of this language. It was all done on a template, all modeled, and the Wisconsin Association of School Boards Director walked me through it hand in hand. So I apologize if I'm giving the, message of trying to keep anything from policy, because that was not the case. It was the timeline that I was worried about.
I can honestly say I've been well aware of this Title IX issues for at least a few months now and have been following along with the legal issues in regards to it and all the battling going on with it, and was really hoping that some things would go more in the favor where we wouldn't end up having to change a bunch of policies and whatnot because of it. But at this point, it's not a matter of a want. It's just ended up being a requirement, unfortunately. And we really don't have any say.
We can always revise them if something comes out.
If there's something later on, I
Yeah.
mean, later on, they could just say, never mind, and throw it all out, and we could retro this
Well, that's the other thing.
all the way back
can
if we
rescind
wanted
these,
to.
So but I was very much advised to follow the timeline, and that's what I'm doing on behalf of the board. And I would do it again.
And Kevin, so do we need to do a motion for the policy, for the rule
Yes.
and the exhibit separate each one?
Yes.
So I'll make a motion, we approve Title IX, policy 113.
I'll second that.
Okay, we'll go with Peggy and Katie, that one. And all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Make a motion, we approve policy 113 rule.
I'll second it.
Motion by Peggy, seconded by Steve. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed?
Make a motion, we approve exhibit 113.
I'll second
Motion by Peggy, seconded by Katie. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? And, yeah, like I say, hopefully, we get to have some saying this stuff at some point down the road, or maybe they rescind it, because that'd make our lives a little bit easier, but, we'll just have to wait and see, unfortunately. Moving on, non-discrimination policy 411.
Like I said, I was advised to approve the new version. I don't know how much I don't think a lot of language significantly changed in that, but I was advised to make sure that this was included because the language matches the new policy in 113.
Make a motion, we approve non-discrimination policy number 411.
I'll second it.
Motion by Peggy, seconded by Katie. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So what does this mean? That you're just gonna add a new revised date on all these policies on the bottom,
Yes.
because they're currently not on
They're
here?
not on it because they haven't been approved tonight.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, some of it has a date and some doesn't. I Thank you.
Yeah, there's a previous date, I think in, I don't know, some 2020, this all occurred back then, in 2020, maybe the previous to that, but we went through this in 2020 as well with Title IX changes. But typically we'll just leave it on there and then we'll put the new date.
Right, but like, so one of their forms has had an adoption date for today, but none of the other three. That's what I was more or less stating. So I can see that some was 2020, some was 2015. I was just saying one of them, the adoption dates for today, and the other ones just didn't have that.
I'll make sure they're all in there. Sorry.
Yeah. And just to be clear, all this going along with the Title IX, it's where we get a lot of our funding from.
Not necessarily federal, I mean, they threaten to take federal money if we don't.
Exactly.
But once again, on the in-service that we watched and with training that we've been, they've never taken it if districts haven't done it.
Yeah,
But I don't want to play that card.
exactly.
No, we don't do the first ones.
Yeah, exactly.
Make an example out of that little school
Yeah.
up north.
And once again, we walk through this with our attorneys and through training. There's nothing done on our own in the district to try and do anything. We're just following statute, following law that came in play. Believe me, I would not want these this lengthy. I mean, just the editing in itself took several hours.
All right. Moving on. Playground update,
All right.
maybe.
Playground update. We got back the overview. That's the one that was attached here, so I don't have a 3D rendering. But we had them kind of pull the equipment a little bit closer together with our final equipment versions. So you'll see the one in the upper left is more a big kit play area, and then the one down below that that's bigger is for small kids. We've got spinners, teeter-totters, some single spinners, climbers, swings, and tire swings. So I think we covered kind of all the pieces that we wanted, including keeping the tree. And this is just the playground portion, not any of the cement work and that kind of stuff. And I don't have an updated budget on this, but the playground people said that they would work with us, offer us a discount to make sure that we're gonna stay within our budget. He did even change out some of the swing structures to be a lesser cost from some that were like 2 to single. They're still all secure and everything like that. It is not gonna get done this year. It would be pushed into October at this point now if we tried to do anything this year. By delaying it till next year, though, we'll be able to get better bids on the contract portion of it. He said people were not willing to put in with the short timeline to be able to get it done. Some of the equipment, once we get back a contract with Lee, which is who did this portion, there is the option that we could probably take some possession of that and store it so that there is utilization of the loan starting now. And then we can be right on the docket in the spring to get the construction portion done. We'll go out to bid for the contractor portion, November, December time period. But our pricing for the equipment portion would all be locked in. Just will give us the best option to make sure we're not gonna rush it. I did also get an email from Jill Tinman. She was checking in on the National Guard, possibly doing some work for us, which would be probably the demolition of the current site. And that could save us upwards of $20,000 to $30,000 if we're able to do that through a different means. So that's really great. We'll continue to have them work with Rettler and coordinate all that so that it would be ready to go in the spring. So that's kind of the update that I
In
have.
terms of a communication plan with parents.
Yeah. I think what I would like to do, and I'll definitely take, whatever people have to say, if we can have some nice renderings, possibly some color options like this or this, I'd love to see those up at the open house so that we could let families be able to see what it is that we're looking to put in, and then maybe even give a vote or something so that they have some opportunity to speak on a piece of it, whether it be those colors or not. We also have the entire winter on getting out some sponsorship of maybe some trees or benches or some stand-alone structures that could go right on the edge where there'd be hard surface for rolling up to wheelchair wise. Because we did have to pull out the poured rubber. That was definitely out of the budget. So it's all going to be mulched, which is ADA compliant. But having some additional structures right up along the edge of it would be great. And those could potentially be sponsorships. So we could get the word out that way that we're looking for assistance and to do this all the right way. And I've learned that all these projects are going to take a year to do. So we can't just start in March for something that we want done in June. And that's okay. It's been a learning experience for me.
Yeah, unfortunately, Rattler kind of misled us, believing that they'd be able to start this at the end of July and have it done by August.
I think we could have pushed through, but it was going to be tough. I mean, the contractor was willing to do it. Lee was like, well, we can try to get some of this equipment. You know, it should be there, but we would have had to have met like every day for 2 weeks to get everything decided on and contract signed. And it would have been just difficult with the timing of it hitting summer and staff not being in the buildings and stuff.
Yeah, I just felt they could have been a little bit more upfront about these things to begin with, especially when it came to the budget aspect of things.
I think we're gonna have upset parents because they were convinced it was gonna happen this summer.
So is the committee gonna put together a communique and the parents and,
Yeah, we can.
It's
Can you
like,
just add that there's going to be students upset too,
Yeah.
because the word got out and it flew.
Mhm.
There's a lot of students that are going to.
yeah, there's a lot of people not happy with it.
And all the meetings were open. Anyone could have come to them. All we did was promise that we were getting the funding for it and starting the process. You know, we had an completely, you know, a timeline that was put together, that it wasn't a promise or anything. It was just the general starting point from Rattler. I mean, that was before we had any of the contractors or the equipment person. If we had known what equipment provider we were going to go with in December, and we would have had all these things picked so that they would have been ready to just sign that contract and then go, it would have made a big difference. Like I said,
My point
I
is
didn't
there
know.
needs to be a lot of communication as to what happened here.
Yeah.
Because people are going to be
Yeah.
not happy.
Grantsburg still doesn't have anything.
I
started for
understand
their
that, but
playground, so.
Pointing fingers at someone else who didn't do it doesn't help us
No.
any.
It's,
The fact that it rained for 3 weeks in June didn't help any.
Right.
I mean, they couldn't get out and test things
Yeah.
and figure out.
And we were lucky the DNR stuff got signed through, like they were able to push that. We would have not been able to do anything without the DNR approval. So the entire project would have hung up on that. But now that that is through, we could start construction any day moving forward now. So
There's
that
just
was-
not enough time to do it before school starts and we can't not have any.
Just getting
playground.
it done before potential winter. If we knew that winter wasn't gonna hit until end of November,
Yeah.
we'd be like, yeah, let's push for it because we're not gonna get cold days until end of November and we have plenty of time to put it in. But we could have winter come middle of October.
I have
and-
some safety concerns if it's not done before school starts.
Exactly.
So, and then like pushing the kids, like kids not having a playground. I mean, wishful thinking, we all wanted it to be done. Reality is,
None of us have built a playground before, so we've all learned.
Rattler has,
Yes.
anyways. So, yeah, hopefully good things to come in the future. But yeah, like Katie said, we'll get those 3D renderings up, hopefully for open house and stuff like that at
Is
least.
that okay that we have a table in the lunchroom for the school board? I mean, is there other information that we can put out regarding the board there? We're gonna
There
be,
needs to be something from that committee in writing.
Yeah.
So that, and you explained a lot of what happened, if that could be in a letter to parents.
Mhm. I mean, is it a letter you think needs to go out via email or a Facebook post? How, okay,
I just think it needs to get out there now in as many ways as it can get out there.
I would do letter. I really disgusted on just doing Facebook stuff personally as a parent. I don't like having to go on Facebook to find what's going on at my kid's school. I get it. That's the era we're in, but I'm not a fan of it.
Okay. I will put something together and then get it out to the group.
Thanks, Katie.
Sounds good, Katie. Thanks again for all the work you've been putting in with this.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, moving on, meeting calendars. Let's see here, budget and finance. Personnel, does Monday the 19th work for you too?
Mhm.
All right, so we'll do Monday the 19th at 4:15. And then buildings and grounds and transportation. Yeah,
Request to change date. What do we wanna?
Yeah, well, she's gonna be gone. I'm gonna be,
Too.
my daughter's graduating from basic training, so I was wondering if we could do it either the 12th or 13th or the week of the 19th.
no, 13th doesn't work for you, does it?
Not in the afternoon, but we don't know. Can we do it, the 19th? Is there a way to do it after budget
Or before?
or before? Or before?
Yeah, that's fine.
Who is on budget? You,
No,
or I'm sorry, building.
Bill is ground.
those.
Yeah.
Oh, and then we have an opening. Is that something that? Guess we're not discussing it.
But technically, we don't have an opening yet. We
Yeah.
have a resignation.
Yeah, that's the problem.
Steve, do you want to do it after 5 or at 3?
Doesn't matter, whatever works best for you. I'm retired.
We better do it before.
So
You guys
Monday,
don't want to stay later.
August
Monday,
19th at what, 3?
Okay.
I don't know, I'm asking you guys. I'm just writing it down.
3 to 4 and then a 15-minute and then your 4:15, that works?
Sure.
Okay.
So Tom, what works for policy? Kelly's not here.
Well,
She usually, I think, needs like, well, it depends on her work week unless she's changed. I think before she's usually 4:15 or 5, depending on the week.
yeah, that sounds about right to me. Let's see here. Is there any day that you prefer?
When are you guys gone?
So I was asking for the 12th or 13th, if you're available there, or the week
Okay.
of the 19th.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, either. I have no idea
I
what.
could do 13th.
Okay,
Vote.
Tuesday.
Yeah.
Should be fine.
Okay.
Open houses.
We haven't set a time yet, Lisa.
I have to be there
Tuesday.
On the 13th?
Yeah,
What time?
I have to be there by 5:45, so I would need travel time.
People.
What time you need to be there at?
Right.
I'd have to leave.
Yeah,
by
I don't want to say it yet because we don't actually have the rest.
When's the school, when's open house? The 28th?
5 would be
Change my mind.
Okay.
I'm not helping. I'll tell you why later.
Okay.
On the 13th?
You
Or,
wanna do it on the 13th?
okay, so what time, 4:00?
Or earlier.
Yeah, whatever you guys.
The only issue is, I don't know, do we just do it? And if Kelly can't come, she can't come, because Kelly's not here, and I think she usually works till 4 or 5. That's been the past. I have no idea what her,
Guys.
Do you wanna do it on the 19th after the other two?
no,
Just do all two.
So what time can Kelly be here?
I don't know. I feel like every
It
other
seems
week
like
she's
some
got
weeks she gets
different
off at 4
schedule.
and some
Yeah,
She gets off at 5 or something.
Yeah.
Let's just,
So I think you just need to
Do you wanna just do
book
it
it and
the 12th,
if she can't make it, she can't make it. I mean, she's not
Right.
here.
right?
we can do the 12th at 4. If that.
Yeah, I think that'll work for me. Lisa's the 12th, okay with you?
Yep.
Can I make a comment? If someone knows they're not gonna be here, maybe they should like give their availability for their committee meeting in their email where they say they're not coming.
Yeah,
Yeah, that'd be a helpful thing.
Well, that's my birthday.
So what-
You gonna have cupcakes?
Oh, yeah.
so we're going on the 4th, or I mean, 4 PM
Yes,
on the 12th?
Yes.
Okay. And then when is open house?
On Tuesday.
What time is that?
4 to 8.
We usually have them on Wednesday, don't we? Or does it change every year?
Yeah, we have training on that Thursday. We don't want people to be tired.
It's good. And then the regular one set, you guys are good, we don't need to change it?
I think, yep.
Right,
Okay.
and then, yep, so a regular meeting for the 26th, 6 p.m.
Monday meetings. Approve the bills.
Okey dokey. All right, you got that all, Lisa?
I do. Do you want me to repeat it back or are you all good?
I got it.
I'm good.
Okay.
All right, moving on, looking to approve the bills for the cycle of June 25th, 2024 to July 29th of 2024.
I will make that motion to approve the bills.
I'll second it.
Motion from Katie, seconded by Peggy. All those in favor?
I,
Aye, opposed. All right. Now looking for a motion to convene a closed session under Wisconsin State Statute 19.85 1C, E, F, and G to consider employment, promotion, compensation, or performance evaluation data of any public employee over which the governmental body has jurisdiction or exercise responsibility, considerations of financial, medical, social, or personal information, and to confer with legal counsel who is rendering oral or written advice.
Make motion.
I'll second it.
Motion by Peggy, seconded by Steve. Steve, take the roll, please.
Peggy,
Yep.
Jamie,
Yes.
Tom,
Yes.
Katie.
Yes.
Steve, yes.